I'm Jesse Riechman. This is a picture of me here on the wrong side of the fire line at my first burn as coordinator of the Southeastern Illinois Prescribed Burn Association. Did my graduate research on the association, and the whole purpose was to hold it up as kind of a model for future PBAs. It goes without saying that our forest health is at risk without disturbance, but the reason that fire is implicated as such an effective disturbance is because when it's maintained, it can maintain this continued oak understory that eventually takes over and becomes the overstory, keeping out the shade-tolerant species. We have here in the southeastern corner of Illinois an unglaciated topography. So most of the landowners in our area have views kind of like what you see here from the Garden of the Gods. And it's not great for agriculture, but it lends itself to a lot of other kinds of land uses. So back in 2006, a couple of landowners, a couple Southern Illinois University professors, and some ID&R folks got together and decided to write a grant that would be the formation of the Burn Association. And they did it in a barn-raising style. So you get what you put into it, and labor is free. We had a few roadblocks along the way. What we called the Smoky Bear phenomenon was prevalent and had to be overcome. That took a lot of education, a lot of outreach, and a lot of training to get away from that. So to their dismay, they got the grant, and suddenly it was time. They had to hire coordinators, and they had to buy equipment, and here they're looking over what represented a huge commitment, a 3-point hitch-mounted tiller that would make fire lines for any member that wanted to borrow it and run it on their property. And then more equipment. The National Wild Turkey Federation funded Polaris Rangers, hose reels, specialized equipment, several trailers full of Nomex and equipment to outfit the crews, and crew coordinators, and then a coordinator as well. A board was convened. They set the fees at $25 per person per year. For that amount, every member of the association could access the burn equipment and the crews needed to put affordable, effective, and safe burns on their land, on their property. And here's the first year. So in 1 year, the very first year, 837 acres of land were burned for 22 landowners, no accidents, lots of fun, and best of all, they finally realized that it could be done. This was the proof in the pudding, so to speak. Then, for the next 4 or 5 years, they averaged 1,000 acres. They had gone up to about 66 to 70 members. They had grants from State Wildlife Grant, several versions of that, in fact, National Wild Turkey Federation funding, and a couple other sources that allowed them to really grow the organization. But here we come to the members that actually depend on the association to continue. This is Joe. Joe sits in a field where the Trail of Tears passes through his property, and a couple of decades ago, he planted that field full of autumn olive and rose. He's going to spend the rest of his life fixing what he did. This is John. John has about 100 acres of limestone quarry. He grows big rocks, he says, and even bigger trees. In this quarry, his family farm is located, and even though he lives several hours away in another state, he makes every attempt to come to our organizational efforts. This is Pam. Pam and her husband fell in love with a rocky bluff view. They bought it, they built a house on top, and they say that every view on their property has the specific time and place. Every rock has its name. They have that intimacy with their land that drives them to remain with the association. Now, we don't have to do a lot of advertising because before and after pictures are really the best thing we have going for us. And in the smaller picture here, you can see how that understory has been cleared out, and we're approaching kind of a rocky glade association. And that is the benefit of 3 or 4 years of really good burns. It doesn't take long. But maybe more importantly, we have now this situation where members, landowners, private landowners, are in a trusting relationship with agency personnel, and this is something that isn't necessarily well known in our area. and they're able to work together. But what's the secret? How have we managed to pull this off? It's the communication across the fence lines. That's the term I started using. It's where neighbors can talk to other neighbors in a trusting manner and share the information amongst themselves in a way that agencies don't always have access to. This is an important development. Or is it just fun? We love fire. Fire's been a convening agent for families, tribes, fraternities, anybody that recognizes a need for each other. Fire has been a combining element. This is our picture of the future, we hope. We want to go for a westward expansion. We want to grow this thing. We want to talk other people into doing it with us. We're looking for new partners, SIU, the river-to-river cooperative weed management area, possibly others in the area. And of course that means new grants, but it means new sustainability ideas as well. So we have the same questions a lot of you probably have. How long is science going to continue to support prescribed burning? Are insurance companies going to continue to support prescribed burning? Are we going to have an accident? We certainly hope not. Are there any other questions? You can contact me. We have lots of room for volunteers. We operate solely on volunteer effort. If anybody wants to come down and visit us, we have a tool for you.